Community Viewpoint.
And welcome to another edition of Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And we have with us for this segment I don't want to say an old friend, but a longtime friend of mine, Brian Brown. Brian Brown is a resident of China Ranch in Tacoma, California, one of our neighbors. And also he's going to be talking to us about the Death Valley Health Clinic. It's under a different name in Shoshone. Right. It's been closed for maybe a year or so, but it's a health clinic in the town of Shoshone, and Brian will tell us a little bit more about this health clinic. So Brian, if you would, please.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John, for having us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the Death Valley Health Clinic is part of a larger network of clinics out of Bakersfield, California, called Clinica Sierra Vista, which actually has 28 different health clinics in the Central Valley primarily. Historically, it started to provide health care for migrant farm workers and people at the low end of the financial scale. Mm-hmm. And that was successful and expanded because there was such a need for such thing. Eventually, through some personal connections, they opened a satellite clinic in Shoshone in the early 1980s. And it's been there since. And we've had a number of, we provide primary care. So we're currently staffed by a physician's assistant who has a doctor who's what we call a preceptor here in Pahrump. So he can, Mark Hacker, our PA at the clinic, can do primary care. And then he calls in to the physician if there's need for more stuff. Mark can also write prescriptions. Okay. And he can refer folks to the hospital. He can fast track you into the hospital if necessary. Okay. And our clinic is kind of unique because, again, historically it was set up to serve people who were either at the low end of the financial scale or who were underserved medically. So if you come to the Death Valley Health Clinic in Shoshone, you will get provided health care. Whether you're, if you have insurance and you can pay the full freight, then you do. We have a sliding scale, basically, of payment.
Just mention
so dependent upon the size of your family and your income, the price of your service can be adjusted all the way down to an indigent person who has no money. We don't turn people away. We provide the services we can within the parameters that we can, right. And we can refer them out. So it's a good fit often for rural areas where there are a lot of people, historically a lot of low-income folks. And so we are also because the clinic was closed for a bit, our former PA retired, and so we had to do a job search. It was closed for several months, but we're reopened, and we're expanding a bit because we've made arrangements to be down in Baker, California 1 day a week, and also to be in Furnace Creek and Death Valley 1 day a week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Bottom line, we need to generate some more customers. And Pahrump used to provide us with a lot of customers, but you are now so well covered with health care over here with your hospital and the various clinics that most of the people are staying here, and we understand that, of course. But for those folks who might be a good fit for our clinic, it's only 27 miles. And again, we're connected with all of the prescription pharmacies here in Pahrump, so if somebody comes over for us to our clinic, we can refer you to whatever pharmacy you like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's been a good thing for us.
Yeah, because I mentioned that to someone that I know that works and lives at the Opera House, right. And they had been going up north. Was it Amargosa or Beatty? Does Amargosa have a clinic?
I'm not sure right now what they're providing.
I wasn't aware of that. So they may be looking at the other direction, which is a little bit closer.
Sure, and we're going to be in Furnace Creek 1 day a week. The folks who work for the National Park Service or Xanterra Corporation, the concessionaire down there, they also have zero health service in Furnace Creek.
Oh, okay.
So they can come to us if they want to. We'll be there 1 day a week in Furnace Creek in an office, or they can come up to the clinic in Shoshone, as well as in Baker, California, which although that's in San Bernardino County, it's a community of over 800 people, and they have no health services whatsoever.
Really?
So now for example, their little high school there, sending kids to us for sports physicals. We'll be there 1 day a week in Baker at their community service district office has set aside a room that we're setting up as a little clinic. or the folks down there can come up to our clinic anytime they would like.
So that you provide a service for them, and then you'll be generating a little bit of an income.
We hope so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely part of what we're trying to do here, and we appreciate you having us on for a little bit of publicity here, because I think you really can't have too much healthcare coverage, particularly in these remote areas like this. And so we think we can fill a pretty unique niche.
Definitely, yes. Because you have the another niche is the Southern Inyo Fire Protection District, which we almost lost many years ago.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
And that would have been a big blind spot there also.
Well, it is, yeah, and because our area was, I mean, it was historically they were mining communities, and there were a number of good paying mining and ancillary jobs. That's all gone now, and basically we do tourism, and it's seasonal, so it's a tough place to make a living. And so community service things like fire coverage, police coverage, health coverage, those kinds of things can be scarce and sort of hard to come by. So, and we sort of had to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps if we were going to continue to remain a community and figure out ways to do this. So we formed a fire district.
Yes.
We voluntarily, all the property owners voluntarily tax ourselves a little bit every year to raise enough money to do some staffing and get facilities. And again, we have a nice connection with Pahrump, because we're able to send our EMTs and fire people over to Pahrump for some training. So it works well that the Pahrump folks have been very helpful with it, even though there's a state line, and sometimes that creates some jurisdictional challenges.
Right, you have an MOU, so to speak, a memorandum of understanding.
And so it works, it's very practical. And there's a nice historical precedent for that, because back until about the mid-1970s, when Pahrump was a tiny little town, Shoshone was actually the going town. The kids from here went to high school in Shoshone, and I remember well. Kids in the 60s and 70s. Some of you are now prominent business and landowners, and Pahrump actually went to high school in Shoshone at Death Valley High School. And now that whole model, of course, has turned around 180 degrees.
Do you know any of the teachers that used to be there?
As a matter of fact, I do, right.
And a strange fact also that back in the old days, there's a grade school in Shoshone, or Tacoma, that's closed now.
Right.
That was the one that we would go to, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not sure. I think your elementary kids may have stayed here, but once they hit certainly high school age, they were bused into Shoshone because there was no high school in Pahrump. This was a small farming community, and that was where the center was, so that's where they went. And across the state line, so that you can figure out ways to deal with state lines, even though it can be a bit of a challenge. It's, in these rural areas, we really do have to hang together.
Yeah, so what are the hours of the clinic?
The clinic is open 9 to 5, I believe.
Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, And once we get set up with our hours in Baker and Furnace Creek, we'll let everybody know what days there will be.
Do you want to put some of the flyers up there too?
Yeah, there's a graphic of our new sign. So if you're in Pahrump and you want to come to the clinic, if you drive 27 miles on Highway to 372.
372, and then
when you get there, take a right, go through Metropolitan Shoshone, and just about a quarter mile up the road on the right, you will see the Death Valley Health Clinic.
When you come to the Tina Road, there's a sign right there. And the arrow points you to the right.
Yeah, it just says to the right. And so it's a good little clinic. It's a good thing. We're grateful that it's back open again.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so
that's what it looks like. It's got the now open sign.
Yeah, that was about a month ago. I think hopefully this now open sign, I'm not sure if it's still there, but also.
No, I took that 3 days ago. It's still there.
Okay, well, I haven't been busted then. But anyway, the other nice thing is because it was primarily set up initially to help migrant farm workers in the Central Valley, all of our stuff is bilingual. People that are non-English speakers can come to the clinic, and although Mark does not speak Spanish yet, we can right away get people on the phone to the Bakersfield clinic who can talk to you in Spanish and tell Mark in English, so we can work it out if need be, if that becomes an issue. So everyone is welcome, and we have a very strong commitment to serving the underserved and also the financially and at the low end of the scale.
Oh, definitely.
And we are. And so when we get folks that can't pay the whole medical bill, we get some subsidy from the federal government as a rural health clinic to cover some of that cost. Not all of it. That's why we're constantly, like everybody else, trying to raise money and generate new customers.
Just like our clinic here in Pahrump with Libby. She does the same thing with the sliding scale and whatnot. Yeah. So Yeah, it's the same thing in Nevada also. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have the same rules basically.
And we have to be realistic that not everyone has health care, just not everyone is going to get it, even though we're all supposed to have it at this point.
I know.
And I don't want to start a political food fight here.
No.
But, that's the reality of that some people just don't have it, and they still get sick, and they still break arms and legs, and bad things happen. So we need to have that. Everybody deserves health care, regardless of your income or your job or your state or whatever else. It really is a basic human right, in my opinion. So we try to fill a piece of that slot.
But I have health care myself, but that's because I'm a veteran.
Right.
That's just with the veterans, but now I also have Part B because I'm old enough for that. So I have the two options
Sure.
also. So if I don't like one, then I'll go to the other. So,
Right, okay.
Or if I don't like going to the hospital all the time in Las Vegas, I would go to the new hospital here. Well, it has new owners now.
Yeah.
It was just sold about a week and a half ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're about to open, Healthcare Partners, I think, is about to open some new facility here soon.
Oh my God, yeah, huge facility.
I read about it. I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Where is
we're
it in your town? Where is it in your town, John?
It's across the street from the Saddle West, basically, just east
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
And it's about 2/3 finished now.
Wow.
So you probably don't know about it yet, but the big building with just sticks right now, that'll be a huge health clinic.
Yeah.
A lot of offices over there. So
Good.
many good things are happening, not only with us, but by you in Shoshone
Right.
and in Tacoma. So once again, we have a 5-day-a-week office over there open. What's the hours?
9 to 5, I'm pretty sure.
And did you have the hours or the phone number again, if we could?
Is it on there? If not, I've got it written down.
Call for a point. Yeah, there it is. 852-4383.
Right, there we go. Okay, area 760, it is California.
Yes, yes. So,
And yeah, please come and give us a look if you have a need for health care. Or just drop in and say hi and check the place out.
Yes.
It's interesting, it's an old residence that years ago, it was the residence for the mine superintendent for Pfizer Mining Corporation when Pfizer used to mine talc in this area years ago. And Susan Sorrells very generously donated the use of that house and property, and we did a major renovation and turned this old house into a health clinic.
okay. Well, thank you for the information.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by.
Sure.
And we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Community Viewpoint.